Hello everyone and welcome to this wonderful afternoon. Sorry for the microphone there, it's a bit loud. Today we are driving in Autopolis. I'll be your commentator today. My name is Fyodor. Um, You're stuck with me sadly today as nobody else is here to commentate. It's everybody's busy practicing for the DRM and the CRM championships, which is totally understandable. Practice is nearly coming to a close, but we can still have a little look at the track. So currently, and it is of course completely messed up. Let's see if we can fix that for you guys really quick. No, hello. I do not seem to be able to resize the Corso window. That is really nice. What is interfering with that? Sorry guys for this. I'm still not able to resize this. Give me 2 seconds. Yes, why don't you just... Okay. This is super weird. As always, the stream is going swimmingly. Okay, there we go, fixed that. Okay, we are now fully up and running, with the usual hiccups at the start. The times we will be looking at are 1:31.8 with Alex P setting the fastest lap of the session. It's a small grid, only 7 people today, so there's still place if you want to join. Just download the cars and pop in. We'll make it a bit more exciting. Let's see if any other people are on track. Everybody. No, here's we see. We're driving today in the GT500, which is a class used in Japanese sports car racing. They're similar to, in regulations, to the old DTM cars. DTM has now switched to GT3s, but previously DTM and GT500 ran the same regulations on the cars. This was with the intention to be able to switch out cars, so you'd have the you'd be able to drive in both championships with the same cars, but in the end that didn't really happen. We should have one custom livery today, but I haven't seen Yellow around yet, so when Yellow joins in we can have a look at that custom livery. But we can still look at the stock liveries, just to fill in some time. These are the stock GT500s. This is, to be exactly right, this is the... Let me just have a quick look what exactly the car is. The exact make of the car is the Honda GT500, so this is based on the Honda NSX, as you can see. I should have just looked at the badge for that instead of the weekly chat. This is, we have a couple liveries, but yeah, 3 different liveries. These are used, GT500s are used in endurance racing in Japan. It's actually really fun. They have a multi-class races, so they have GT500 and GT300. That's on the NSX. Oh. What's it then based on? Was. Sorry, yeah, if I'm just improvising here. Nothing. Well, the style to look like the NSX. At least looks like that for me. As quali starts and everybody goes out, I say that, and then nobody goes out. Here we go. Runner-up is out on track. Autopolis is quite a nice looking track. It's a challenging track. It has a lot of sweeping corners. Not really that many short straights, so you can settle the car down. It's a lot of corner into another corner into another corner, which is really nice and challenging. The track also has quite a lot of really turns that tighten a bit at the end, so when you're driving it, it's a real challenge. These GT500s make a beautiful sound, in my opinion, as we just drive through the hairpin, which is actually a lot tighter than it looks. You feel like, because it's uphill, you can brake really late, but actually you really can't brake all that much later. It is. This track has been opened in 1990 and it hosts quite a lot of races. And Alan there has a spin in the background. These cars don't have. Well, I think they do have TC, but it doesn't really work that well in this mod. So you still have to be really careful with the throttle pedal. Because if you smash it too hard, you stay around. As we are now going to look at a lap of runner-up 76. And we will go forward with him down into T1. This is a really tight corner actually. You feel it's open, but then you smash into a wall. So that's a good start of the lap. It's really tricky corner to get right, so I think we'll see a lot of smashing into the wall there. And interesting actually. Runner-up and everybody is, a lot of people are still on mediums, even if the Redshift is qualifying on softs. Just completed his outlap in 55, which is a respectable time for an outlap. Yeah, it was. I know it was built for the GT500 series, but it's just like DTM, where the Mercedes does look a little bit like a Mercedes. It doesn't look too much like it. Oh, hey, Sife's here. So that means the grid is slowly filling up. It's cheesy for pole, as everybody has slowly started their outlaps. Khan here, who is a long time returning member. I've seen him around a couple times over the last month, and it's really good to see him. Cheesy, also, because he just murders the cameraman, Top Gear style. Is yellow there already? No, yellow is not there. Let's see what Sife's doing. Sife's also out on track there. These cars are so quick. So every time you see them going, they're just phenomenal. So we have a couple different camera angles. So yeah, as you can see, this is what I was talking about, that really corner into another corner. You don't really have time to settle the car. Short straight and then back down for another corner. And it's just, the circuit is so nice. It flows really well, but it's super challenging because of that not being able to settle the car all that much. As a Sife goes for a nice drift there. As Toxic also follows the Sife off in the background, so that's always good to see. We have Alan and Khan who are really close on track. Alan having to back off there a little bit, not to rear end Khan. As the first qualifying laps are coming in, Redshift has set the first real lap of the day with a 1:33, a 1:8:01. I expect to see those go down by about a second or two, if people can get a lap hooked up. People to look out for are Redshift, Alex V, who set the fastest lap in practice. As boss here comes with a bit of history, so it's the Honda HSV010. This one, it isn't based on a road car. It is a prototype built to the GT500 specs. So yeah, it isn't based on a road car, but you can still see a bit of road car in there. In the end, you have that with all the sports cars, especially when in old championships like DTM. Well, previous years DTM. Because now they switched to GT3s, as Alex V there comes across the line, and as it at 33.8. Let's have a look at Khan here. He's 3/10 down, so probably had a bit of an off in the middle sector. As Alan goes there for 1:33.548. Redshift actually improved to 1:32.7, so times are getting faster now. 15 minutes to go in quali, and I'm trying to find some fun facts about Autopolis, but history is too much. Lap records. In the GT500, lap record is a 1:35.2 in the GTR, in the Nissan GTR GT500, but that was in 2015. So they did race on Autopolis later, but I think, yeah, no, lap records don't qualify. Qualifying laps don't count in lap records, same as in F1. So that is something to keep in mind. The fastest lap in a Group C actually is a 1:30.6, which I don't think will be coming close to today, but we might see. I think we'll see the lap record, the Super GT lap record will be broken, but not that much more. If we look at Group C is faster, Super Formula is way faster. Super Formula is a really fun series to watch. If you have the time, there's some great racing in there. So that's definitely something to watch out for. And Zeif is still trying to set a decent lap here. He is not that well. Toxic is also, I think he's just trying, he's on his outlap still. He just did his outlap and he's trying to get that first good flying lap in. The hairpin is so deceptive because the track drops off and it crests in the middle of the apex. If you put the power down too early, you are gonna spin around. This complex of corners is also amazing to drive on the speed you have to carry. Oh, sorry. I'll get that fixed. Hopefully this is a bit better. During safety car driving, everybody was telling me I'm too soft, so my mic a bit closer. Really low now. Well, put this up a little bit. Hopefully this will help, and I can turn this down a little bit as well. So I should be able. This should be good. Hopefully. Better not. Great. I am on my own, so I'm doing my best to muddle through it. Cheesy still just maybe getting a bit too loose, hasn't been able to set a valid lap. That is not his outlap, because 2:12.3 is definitely his outlap. Behind him we have, let's just have a look behind Cheesy as we go on board. Behind him we have Redshift, who is currently the fastest in class, so he'll get a nice slipstream. Hopefully it doesn't get hindered too much on his lap. There we go, I've got everything up now. All my live timing. So I can actually see sector times as well. So we have Redshift, who has improved his fastest lap to 1:32.082. Alex V, who's behind him with 3:10s, but we have seen him set a faster lap, so I think Alex V will be able to go quicker. And behind him in third place we have Zeif, who's just over a second behind, doing a 1:33.4. Finishing on that lap. Toxic just improving to a 1:32.4. So just going about as 6/10 faster than Zeif. Let's see if there are any major differences in setup. We do see Cheesy, who has set the highest top speed with 277 kph, which is about 3 km/h faster, so he is probably running a bit less rear wing, which might explain why he hasn't been able to set a valid lap yet. But yeah, the driving in this track is really difficult, as behind them we have Toxic, not Toxic, Redshift, sorry, who is still trying to get past. I don't know if he's just hanging back or he's trying to overtake, as Cheesy lets him go there. So Redshift is Alex V actually. Oh, I'm not paying attention to the times. Alex V is set the fastest lap now with a 1:31.9. So we're breaking into the 1:31s now. As we will come around into, oh boy, I don't know this track from the outside that well. As we'll follow him around. As he's currently just on the exit of the middle sector, so he'll be going up into the hairpin. Here, yeah, that's good. Okay, I remember now where he is. This is a really tricky corner to get right. Getting on the power there without losing the rear is so hard to do, so that's definitely something we'll probably see people spinning out. there, and then these two corners are so amazing. You just tip in the car, just a little bit of braking, and back on throttle, and then hard on the brakes for the second part. I really love that corner as he is up 1/10 in his that's the fastest middle sector, with a 30.2 in his middle sector, so that's a really good lap from him. Predicted is a 1:34.3, but that is steadily going down, so we'll see what he comes across the line to set a 1:32.0, so just barely losing a little bit of time in that third sector. As he starts his third fly, he sets his fifth flying lap, pulls over to the side. Redshift here is currently coming into the final sector, so you're going back up the hill. Am I saying this right? Yes, you're going up the hill. Let's go on board with him. If I press the right buttons. Ooh, a lot of in-car cameras on this one. So we'll follow Redshift around for a lap of Autopolis. Okay, coming into T1, you need to be careful to not hit the pit lane. If you hit the pit lane, you will get slowed down to 80 kph. Turn 1 is a tricky corner to get right. You have to turn in way more than you think. Turn 3 is pretty much flat. 4 and 5 are really fun to do, quick succession. And just a small lift into the next series of corners. I'm braking really hard for this corner, which is a hairpin. It's really tricky, especially if you're doing the first couple laps. It is hard to get the right braking point there. And using all of the curb there, turning out into the curb on exit. And we're coming up into the hairpin now. As he brakes for the hairpin. Tricky traction as he locks the rear axles there. Is that gonna cost him? He was up in the first sector. Yep, he aborted that lap. So he's just trying to cool the tires down. Into the super fast left-handers. Brake, a little bit of brake for the first one, and then hard on the brakes for the second one. And coming back up the hill through a couple of flat, to run flat corner, and then going for this really late apex so you can get the run onto this short straight down here. Going into the final couple of corners. Again, go for the really late apex so you can get it nice and lined up onto the main straight. So you full throttle it. Running onto the main straight, and that is a lap of Autopolis. So as you can see, it is quite a tricky track, but it will definitely create some exciting racing, as Alex V here is caught up into a big pack between Khan and who's that behind? That is so close, my lifetime. Khan and Cheesy. Cheesy just trying to get past there. They're racing already. Great job from them. So yeah, these cars don't really have that much dirty air in AC, so you can race them nice and close. They are quite quick, so it is something people will have to keep in mind while racing. You can't do the classic. You can't do the classic cars where you just shovel somebody out of the way. As it's really busy here on this backstretch. We have 4 cars, which is quite interesting. So I've Esman, who's currently in the pits, probably either changing the setup or getting ready for the race, as we have only 4 minutes to go till the race. Roundup 2 has only done a 33.5. He's the one who chose this, who selected this car and track combination, so I expected him to be up there, but he didn't do all that much practice, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Cheesy and Khan backing up the rear currently. And in front, Alan. Oh wow, Alan! Why, I'm not paying attention at all. Alan is done a 1:31.653, which is a flying lap. That's an amazing lap from him. As Alex V and Alan are both in the pits. Then we have Redshift P3, who's still trying to improve. He is currently not registering on my live timing, so that is interesting. Why is he not registering on my live timing? That's weird. he does say he's on track, but he doesn't. I don't get any sector times. There we go. He just started this lap, so he was probably on an out lap. Then in P4 we have Toxic, who is currently just past the start finish line, done a 1:32.7, so that is definitely not quick enough. His current fastest lap is a 1:32.6, so he wasn't nearly there, but just lost a little bit of time in the final sector. Then behind Toxic we have Zyf, who is currently doing a bit of maintenance in the gravel trap, and he is he set a time of a 1:33.178, so he's nearly second of Toxic in front, and a second and a half from Alan, who's currently on pole. So great job from Alan there. Then we have in P6 we have Iceman, who is currently in the pits. P7 we have Renrat, who did improve his time slightly, but not enough to get past Iceman. And then at the back we have Cheesy, who's currently in the pits, waiting, either grabbing a new set of boots or waiting till the session runs out. And then P9 we have Khan, who is 5 seconds off from the lead at the moment. So all in all, we have a fairly tight grid, especially at the front, as Toxic goes for a 1:32.042. So that's a really good lap from Toxic there, who's also just gone back to pits. There's just enough time to get another outlap in, so let's see, Toxic goes for another outlap. But the rest, Alan, Iceman and Cheesy have both opted to opted to stay in the pits. Actually, yeah, no, have all opted to stay in the pits. Toxic here, just running a bit wide. He will have to step on it on this outlap because, well, doesn't have all that much time left. As let's see, the final couple people are going to start their last lap. Khan is currently on the start-finish straight, about to start his last lap of the session. And then behind Khan we have Renrat, who will also be crossing the start-finish line soon as well. Khan locked up braking into turn 1 there. That is gonna cost him some time, but will he be able to make it back up? I'm not sure. And P5, Zyf crossing the line also for his final lap. Ren has opted to go into the pits. So with 1 minute to go, we have 5 cars out on track. And we have Redshift in P4, who is a little bit up in the middle sector and improves up into P2 for 1:31.876. And into the final sector we have Alex V, who is currently down on his fastest time, coming onto the main straight, and it is going to be a really slow time, but that was an outlap, so it doesn't really matter. And as he goes to start his flying lap, but the tracker derps out, and that last lap was a 1:50.5, so that was definitely a slow lap to get wound up for this final lap of the session. In P8 we have Cheesy, who has actually gone out of the pits in overtime, so he won't be able to set a flying lap. Toxic is, though, he's on his flying lap and he's gone quickest in sector 1 by nearly a 10th. So we might have a fight on our hands here. So fastest in sector 1, coming into the second sector, up into the hill, braking for the hairpin. We got some squirming going on. No, looked perfect. Little bit of a swarm on the exit there, little bit of a wiggle. It might cost him time, as we see Cheesy there on the background, just flying straight on. Everybody's in the pits. Only Toxic to go there. Ooh, Toxic losing a little bit of time in the middle sector, and then running wide. That's gonna cost him. He is on a pole lap. He is currently on pace for pole. Predicted lap time is a 1:31.8 according, and he is 2/10 up on his delta. He ran wide there, that cost him a lot of time. Can he make it up in the final corner? Just carrying a bit more speed. Is he carrying too much speed? He carries quite a lot of speed running wide on the grass there. And that's lost him all this time. And he's just pushing a bit too hard in that final sector. And losing so much time there, half a tenth. Which is just too much. As he will be coming in to the pits now. As we will now be waiting for the race session to start. We have two race sessions today, one normal grid and one reverse grid race. So it is still quite a lot to play for, especially in reverse grid race. We can see some massive crashes or some really good driving. As yeah, we'll have a look at all the liveries. So this is and we have quite a lot of different liveries actually. This is a nicely made mod. So these are all real life liveries. Sorry for that going into a building there. As you can see, got a nice honk. And here running this really nice green on the with the red of the tail lights. It nearly looks like it has like a multicolor effect. I really like it. In third place we have Alex V, who is running this nice Rayberg livery. I have no clue about all the history about all the teams. This white one also looks quite nice, Toxic running the white livery, which is quite noticeable as it's I think the only white livery in the field. And we have Azaif, who's also running the Rayberg livery, Iceman, who's running the green livery, together with Alan in the first place. I really like this one, especially with the red lights. I like the multicolor effect. Then in P7 we have Renrep 76, whose front wheels are freaking out a little bit. Might need to talk about the Ferrari mechanics. They can give the OK so you can go on track. In P8 we have Cheesy Maniac, who also needs to speak to a couple of mechanics to get his front wheels fixed, and that is me. Sitting lonely, pressing the push to talk button on my steering wheel so I can talk to you guys. But we'll do a fly down of the grid if my freecam wants to work. So in P1 we have Alan, P2 we have Redshift, P3 we have Alex V, P4 we have Toxic, P5 we have Zyve, oh god, now I'm getting confused. P6 we have Iceman, P7 we have Renrupt, P8 we have Cheesy, and backing up the rear in P9 we have Khan. These cars are tricky to get off the line, so we'll probably see some interesting moves into T1 as we'll join on the crane here. Zooming in, does that look decent? Oh, it looks decent. So with 3 minutes to go, I will show the weekly intro one more time. Well, that got me enough time to just grab a drink really quick, so I am set for the rest of the evening, as we are currently waiting 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go till the start, as a dove is trying to get through my window, and it didn't work, so now there's a big splash on my window. As Iceman 7 disconnects, that is, he was in P... Ooh, which position was he in? He was in P10, that's not correct. Everything is broken again. Great. My life timing. He was in P6. He was in P6, so he disconnects from P6, which is quite sad. He was in a good position to make up some nice points. Of course, everybody will finish in the points today because we have a point system which gives out points till P15. Oh, great job, Alan Paul. And it helps if I transition to the live stream. So, Khan disconnected. Not Khan, sorry. Iceman 7 Iceman disconnected. And he is back, so he will be back in time for the race start, as we have only 40 seconds to go. Indeed, a great job from Alan to put that car on pole. He did a phenomenal lap. It was just sad we don't have a replay feature, so it would be nice if we could show that lap. Then, with 25 seconds to go, lights will be coming on any second now. Get ready, everybody, this is going to be a cracking race. All 11 of you, as here come the lights. As we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights. And away we go! A lot of smoking up there, everybody seems to get away well. We're going 3-4 wide there at the back. Ooh, into T1, will everything go smoothly? And it seems it has. Zyf running a really wide there, will he catch up? It looks like it. Alan is still in the lead, behind them a nice train is forming. As Iceman is looking, Toxic is looking for a move. He lost out quite a lot of positions there, sorry. It was Toxic who ran wide into T1. As he's pushing Iceman around the track there, doing everything he can to get around him. As you can see, just losing a little bit of time. So we will look in the rearview mirror. This is a scary sight to see in your rearview mirror. He's just pushing him as he goes side by side. Toxic goes down the inside in the in the hairpin. And Iceman just runs a little bit of wide. Toxic has a squirm on the exit there as Cheesy Maniac runs wide, and that is Toxic. Sorry, Iceman and Zyf going side by side. Iceman there just getting the better of Zyf. Great racing from both guys there. As up into the lead we have Alex V and Redshift, who are also fighting it out. Getting really close. We'll see how strong the slipstream is in this car in a moment. As they're coming onto the main straight now. As Khan and Iceman switch positions. Alex V here, stay in front, goes defensive. Redshift tries to move around the outside. Can he go late on the brakes? Yes, he does go late on the brakes. Does he run right? Yes, he runs wide. Just loses out to Alex there as Toxic goes in the background, goes off-roading. That's going to cost him quite a lot of time. In the back we have Runner-Up who's now also closing in on Redshift. Because of that mistake running wide into T1, that is going to cost him. So Redshift there, just trying to get the power down. You see this car squirming to just get all the 500 horsepower down onto the ground. I think it's 500, should be 500 horsepower, if I remember it correctly. It's probably more actually. In front we have Alex V, who is now slowly trying to put pressure on Alan as we got a nice train forming. Toxic is already closing back up onto this train for the lead. Alan doing great to stay in front here. Well, great job from both guys. Behind him Alex and Redshift. Redshift just dropping a little bit through that corner. As he's now under pressure from Runner-Up, who tries around the outside. And Toxic tries it as well, losing momentum. Redshift, will he be vulnerable? That is no. He will stay in front. Toxic now is really putting the pressure, but will Alex get enough? Alex had the fastest lap with a 1:32.6. Toxic there, just moving around the outside, seeing if he can do something. Runner-Up going slow on the exit, but that was an illusion. Runner-Up going perfectly on the exit. Redshift going a bit too quick in there. Toxic tries around the outside on turn 4. Can he hold it? If he can hold it, yes, goes around the outside. Nice move from Toxic there. Zyf is now also closing up, but just a little bit too far away to get into all that action. Back we have Iceman and Khan still trading positions, and back in front we still have this train going. All the way at the front, Alex V now in the lead. Has actually missed the lead change. I'm sorry guys, I'm doing my best to pay attention. So Alan must have run wide somewhere, as Alex V now gets really squirmy on the exit there. Can Alan get a good run on him into the next corner, as behind him Redshift just gets a squirm going and loses out there. Alex V is still in the lead, just managed to stay in front even after that mistake. And Toxic Boy is now putting the pressure on Renrapt. Some great racing from everybody here. If we can get another 15 minutes of this, that would be amazing, as everybody's jumping all over the curbs, maximizing all the track they can. Toxic there looks like he ran really wide, but it was actually perfect. Renrapt has got Toxic on his bumper. Toxic there getting the slipstream, Renrapt going really defensive. Can Toxic get it done? Braking around the outside. Does he carry too much speed in? Ooh, carries a bit too much speed in. Can Ren get him back here? No, he cannot. Ooh, actually. No, he cannot get him back. Great racing from both guys here. As behind them, Zyfe is catching up to Ren as well. And Alex V is just driving away from Alan, who is desperately trying to catch up to Alex V, but he is just a little bit slower. And then Toxic, who is running in P3, that short train of cars behind him. Ren and Zyfe now really closing up to each other, as GZ Maniac and Khan just traded positions. Khan losing, just going a bit wide off the track, as I'm just grabbing up all my live timing information. So current pace is Alex V is driving in the 33.0s. Alan is quite a lot slower, as somebody goes on the gravel track. And that's Alex V going on the gravel trap. Oh no, he lost it. Alex V lost it. And that's Alan back in the lead. Toxic also on the grass. Both of these guys losing out massively. Alex V. Alan is now back in the lead. That was quite spectacularly. And I missed all of it, as usual. Redshift now trying to put pressure on Zyfe, getting that slipstream. Zyfe going defensive. Getting a little bit of a push there from Redshift. Redshift tries around the outside. Zyfe goes really narrow. Does it work? Zyfe on the outside there, blocking Redshift, but Redshift switches on the inside, which does complete the move. On the braking here, can Zyfe do something? Can he be brave around the outside? And no, he cannot. He tried it best though, and that's what matters. Well, great racing from these two. Yeah, so in front we have Alan now. Back in front with Renrapt in second place. He did really well to get back up to second place. As we will change this to progress, as you can see. Alan stays in P1. Renrapt made 5 positions up. Great from him there, as we get a nice train in the back forming behind Zyfe. So that's always interesting. Actually, no, that wasn't behind Zyfe, that was behind Redshift, who just ran wide, as Zyfe takes 3rd place. Redshift runner losing out there by quite so much. Losing out actually massively, going from P3 all the way down to P6. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Is it just these cars being so hard to drive fast, or just him overdriving the car a little bit? We will have to ask in the interviews. So, P1 and P2 seem fairly stable. Alan in the 133.2s for pace, and Renrapt in the 133.3s. So Alan just running away a little bit there from Renrapt. Then we have Zyfe, who is in the 134.3s, so he's definitely off pace. And Alex behind him is running 132s on pace, so I'm just in the voice chat, the chit chat. Yep, the chit chat is the best in charge. Why are you not driving? Come on, we need some grid fillers. We need some grid fillers, and we need some heroics into turn 1. There's still time, Naughty. You have 10 minutes to join. As Iceman there lost out to Redshift, and I actually got the tower set into the wrong mode. Sorry for that, as Alex V is now really closing up to Zyfe. Will Zyfe be able to hold off the storming Alex V? Well, if you can force Alex into a mistake by just driving cleanly, I think he will be able to, but Zyfe will have to drive super clean and super precise. And I was just talking through a yawn, which isn't ideal. So in the lead we have Alan, who is now significantly faster than Ren, almost gapping him over a second in the last lap. So last lap for Alan was a 1:33.0 and last lap for Ren was a 1:33.8. So he's losing 8/10 to Alan on that last lap, which is definitely not ideal, as it seems my pace indicator is just completely broken and it shows the last lap, which is amazing. Then we have in P3 we have Zyfe, P4 Alex, P5 Toxic, who's just Toxic, just ran a little bit wide there. This is a nice train. Alex V trying to get past Zyfe, but if he covers himself off a bit too much, he will be bounced upon by Toxic, Cheesy Maniac and Khan behind, trading positions. And this is what it's all about. Can Toxic get a nice run on him? This is the view from Toxic there. As Alex V just gets a bit of a slide going there. Can Toxic nail it on the exit? No, he cannot. Zyfe, if he looks behind him in his rearview mirror through the rear wing, that is a scary sight to see. There's not much between those two, as Khan and Cheesy are still trading places behind him. We'll have a look at Cheesy, who is still bouncing around. This is what it's all about. Alex V now really closing up to Zyfe, who's still been able to hold up, but Toxic now is getting really close to Alex. So Alex will have to have a think: will he go defensive or will he try to attack Zyfe? That's going to be the question. Toxic will get a double slipstream here, which probably will help a little bit. So going into T1, nobody tries a move. Alex V running a bit wide, Toxic trying to get the run on him, behind him Renrupt. Renrupt went off into the gravel in T1, that means Zyfe's up into P2. Now that's gonna cost Renrupt quite a lot. Alex V running wide again, Toxic goes around the outside, can he get it done? Nice move from Toxic there. Great racing from both guys. Oh no, Alex V tries again around the outside, tries to gain it, but just has to go a little bit longer. That is costing him time. Can he get a good run out of the next couple of corners? So we go up into the hairpin. Will he send it down the inside of the hairpin? Ooh, near the rear end, Toxic there, but it all goes swimmingly. Great job. Good drivers. So those things happen, so I was going to be really happy now. Getting that move out a bit more, creating a bit more space. Great racing from these two. So Alex V is trying everything to get past Toxic again, but Toxic is just a bit too far at the moment. In the lead we have Alan, who's currently pulled out a 6-second gap to the car in front. So that's definitely a great job from him. MP3 and P2 we have Zyfe. P3 we have Toxic, who's currently a second back from Zyfe. And on that last lap, Zyfe did at 32.4 and Toxic did at 32.5. 32.6, sorry. So he is dropping back a little bit from Zyfe, but that's probably because he was under pressure from Alex V. Zyfe's Cormish and braking there. Toxic gaining quite a lot of them, taking a really different line, which is really interesting to see. Normally you see everybody driving the same lines, but this time they're all driving different lines. Through this swooping left-hander. Toxic running really wide there, that's going to cost him. Just closing up to Zyfe again. This grass is really forgivable actually. I keep thinking people will dip their foot on the grass. Toxic getting a great run out of that exit there. Can he do something in the next two corners? It's kind of cheesy trade positions again. First Cheesy, then Khan's off track now. Toxic really maximizing the track there. In his rearview mirror you can see Alex V was just a little bit more behind. Going over the curb, trying to maximize that track. So we go onto the main straight. Ooh, quite a lot of different TV cameras. There we go. Onto the main straight. Great camera work here. Coming down into T1, can Toxic close the gap? So if they're really, you can see the car hopping on the braking over the bumps in the track, which is not ideal for braking performance. But let's see if he can close up. As we look at Azai's rearview mirror, is a full of Toxic. Ooh, Toxic there, it's really close to that rear wing of Zyve. Alex V is now closing up again because Zyve and Toxic are fighting, which costs them both time. As Zyve is actually closing up to Alan now, who seemed to drop a little bit in the performance. Toxic doesn't seem to be able to get close. As all the way in the lead we have Alan, who is just cruising around here, trying to best to just keep pushing, but not too much. You don't want to throw it into a gravel trap like we've seen many others do today. In the back we have Ren, who's also driving in no man's land. Redshift, who just was a bit unlucky, just going into the barrier, which cost him quite a lot of time. Then we have in P7 we have Iceman, who's lost one position overall. In the back with Khan, who gained a position on Cheesy Maniac. Those two are fighting now as well. So we'll keep an eye on the gap into P2 and 3. We can also look at these two fighting as the gap now gets really small. Toxic all over the rear wing from Zyve. On this bumper, pulls out to the side, goes late on the brakes, tries to go around the outside. Zyve's trying on, squeezes him on the ground, and Toxic goes around! Toxic goes around! He spins it, Alex V gets up into third place. Ooh, nearly loses out to Runner-Up as well, just cuts him off a little bit there. As they're going down into the hairpin. One of the first hairpins. Not the hairpin I was referring to as the hairpin the whole time. This is the hairpin, as Runner-Up just trying a bit too much to catch up to him again. Losing out there. The back we have Cheesy Maniac, who is looking at Khan going defensive into T1. There's quite a big of a gap. Cheesy, will he go late on the brakes? Tries to go around the outside, doesn't really manage it. As Ren is now really closing up to Toxic. As Toxic, Toxic went wide again. Ren trying around the inside, which becomes the outside for this next corner. He cannot get it done. I'm slowly settling in. Cheesy Maniac now closing up to Khan. So we got two battles here. Great fighting from both of these guys. Cheesy Maniac all over that rear wing from Khan, doing his best to get by, but it's just so difficult to close up in these cars, and then getting by is a whole another challenge. Will you see him move down the inside of the hairpin? No, he goes a bit deep, tries to go for that late apex. Can he get the power down better? No, the outside line got a bit more compromised, so Khan's line got a bit, Cheesy's line got a bit more compromised, so he just couldn't get the traction down he needed. But Cheesy is now all over that rear wing from Khan. I really like this camera. I know I'm showing it quite a lot, but I really like it, where you can just looking through the middle of the rear wing, you see that Cheesy Maniac there. That's Cheesy's looking at it. Khan goes for the late apex, Cheesy goes for the early apex, which will cost him on the straight. Cheesy getting a good run out of that corner, gaining on Khan the whole way through. Can he use the slipstream to get past enough? Khan going a little bit defensive there. Great driving from both of these guys. As in front, Runner-Up is closing back up to Toxic Boy, but Cheesy goes around the outside. Khan losing a bit of momentum. Ooh, can Cheesy get it done? Oh, cuts across there. Khan switching back to the inside, giving him a flash saying, "Hey, what you doing? That's not nice." is racing. That was a quite late move from Cheesy there. But no contact was made, so all was well and good. As back in front, Khan going off track, which, yeah, Khan goes around, which will cost him. As we have 1 minute to go, that will mean this is probably the final lap, looking at where the leader is right now. So Alan is currently on that final lap. As Toxic! Ooh, what happened to Toxic? Toxic is off in the gravel, and Zyph as well. Zyph is also off into the gravel, which promotes LXV up to second place. So shaking it up in the final few minutes. This leader is currently past half the lap, and we have only 30 seconds to go. Yeah, this is definitely going to be the final lap of the race, as we see Alan here with 20 seconds on the clock going down into the final sector, up the hill through this flat out left-hander, and trying to get the braking right for this right-hander, aiming for a late apex to get the traction down for the super short straight here, which actually is quite important to get the traction down on. Going for the late apex onto the main straight, and Alan will come across the line as the winner of the first race. Well done to Alan, he drove an amazing race. Bit of luck and just a lot of skill, which is all you need, as behind him we see Alex V and Zyph, who is closely followed, there's Renrap and Redshift, who are on each other's bumper. Redshift just not being able to get by. As Ren goes off throttle, gets murdered by Redshift there. Then we have Iceman in P7, and then Cheesy Maniac, who is currently coming into the final sector. So yeah, this was the first race. We will have the reverse grid race in a minute. Meanwhile, I want to say well done to everybody. The racing was really clean, and I will see if I can get Zyph in here for a quick interview. Zyph, can I drag him in here? Can I kidnap Zyph? Actually, let's try and kidnap Alan. Does this work? Alan, can you just accept the... You should be able to join me for a short interview. We got a couple minutes to kill, so I don't think this is working. See if I can get into a different chat. No. Alan? I did invite you to speak, so you should be able to come onto the stage. I can't hear you right now. You have to accept the stage. Or it's just not here. That's also a possibility. In which case I cannot move him back, which is a bit crappy. But still, well done everybody. Drove an amazing race here, as we are still waiting on Alan to hopefully accept the invite, as Khan disconnects from the server. So that will be 8 people for the reverse grid race. Alan, you have to, if you want to speak, you have to accept the stage invite. I don't think he is here. I'll move him back. Can I get Alan in here any other way? No, it doesn't seem to. Okay, I can't kidnap people and force them for an interview, which is not all that nice. I want to kidnap people for interviews. Let's see if I can get anybody else in here. Oh, Alan's gone back. Alan doesn't want an interview. Doesn't seem like anybody wants an interview. So we have a couple minutes to go till the next race starts, and I will try and think of something to talk about. Let's find some history about the GT500s. GT500. It's actually called, it's not the GT500 series, it's the Super GT series. Oh, Alan, you should be able to request to speak on the stage, and then you can join. I don't think this is working. I'll just move to commentators 1 then. Hello, Alan? If you go to Discord, there should be an option to accept and to join me on the stage. Doesn't seem like he... Otherwise just move to interviews 2 and I'll interview you there. Oh, no, does it work now? Why don't you... You can just join. You should be you're a staff member, so you should be able to just join in there. Is it working, Alan? There should be a button to become a speaker. But... Okay, we'll just move to interviews too. Sorry guys, we're just trying some new stuff out. If you want to interview Alan, could you move to interviews too? Oh, hi Alan.
Hello.
There we go. Stage channels don't seem to be working correctly. Well, great job on that first race. You drove amazing.
Oh man, this car, I love this car. It's so... The setup's really good. I've put it on. A few people are running it. So, yeah, just really grippy. After driving those DRMs, I think that's what it is. Driving those DRMs and then coming to this, it just feels like a go-kart. So, you can just feel like you can throw it around.
Yep, you did. You just... Yeah, how were you feeling when Alex V went off in front of you?
Yeah, he was quick. I think he would have had me. I think we were pretty equal on pace, to be honest. I think there was only a thousandth of a second between the fastest lap between the two of us in the race, but I would have been able to keep with him. I lost my nerve a little bit when he went by me, and then I'm just trying to get used to running behind the car because the aero was quite a washout. So
okay, there's quite a lot of dirt here then.
Yeah, but great grid. I mean, there's not many here, but I'm beating some good names, so that's good. Let's see what I can do from the reverse grid now.
Great. Good luck in the reverse grid race. Are you gonna go aggressive, or are you gonna try and pick off everybody who's making mistakes?
An old and wise head on my shoulders. I'll just let them all get spread out and then pick them off one by one.
Good luck, Alan. Thank you for joining us quickly.
No problem.
I'll drag you back into racing one. Oh, no need. Okay, great. Well, that was Alan for a short interview, as we have 20 seconds to go, so I will line us up for another T1 as the lights are coming on now. And of course AC is decided to go all blurry for some reason now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights! And away we go! Ooh, there's a lot of people darting out there already, which is not ideal. Cheesy Maniac is still leading into turn 1, but behind them are going 4 wide. People backing out. Toxic there. Oh, great job from Toxic up into P4. Trying to get back, trying to get past her. Actually lost positions. Alex V up into P2. This is that craziness we're talking about. Alan there hanging back a little bit, trying to pick them all off one by one. Iceman and Redshift behind them going side by side. Great drop from those guys. Iceman just losing out. Redshift getting past. Scythe as well. Goes around the outside and they make contact. Scythe turns in and Iceman's still there, which costs him... Oh no, sorry, that was Redshift. Redshift turns in on Iceman. Or was that Zyfe? No, Redshift turns in on Iceman. Sorry for that, that wasn't entirely accurate, as Alan is now up into P5, but going side by side with Zyfe. Will he back out here? This is a near flat corner, so he'll probably back out and try to go for the move. But later on switches to the inside, has a look, but decides not to go there. As up into the front we have Toxic and LXV, who are also super close. Alan is so on the bumper. Alan is just completely on the bumper, going side by side with Zyfe, forces him wide, says thank you very much, this is now my position. And he has 4 seconds to gain to Cheesy and Maniac. And then in front, Zyfe running wide on the background there. In front we have Renrept, who's actually got the lead. With LXV now hot on his tail and Toxic in P3. So LXV is now back in that predicament. Will I attack? Will I defend? Toxic there tries around the outside, goes on the gravel. Will he hit? No, luckily he doesn't hit LXV, but that's going to cost him. Cheesy Maniac will be closing back up to him. LXV is now all over the back of Renrep 76, who we will go on board with. As you look behind him, LXV is now dropping back a little bit. Renrep just a little bit faster through these 2 corners. So we'll go back to the outside view. LXV a lot faster through that hairpin, especially... oh no, actually that wasn't a lot faster, they were equal in place through that hairpin. Toxic is closing up again. We have to keep in mind that these cars throw up quite a lot of dirty air, as a run said. Alan losing back out to Zyfe. Did he run a bit wide? Championship, our previous race a winner. Just running a bit wide, and that is not ideal, as LXV and Renrep trade positions, and I'm missing it all. I'm doing the classic broadcast maneuver and just focusing on the complete wrong things. As Renrep is now under pressure from Toxic, will he be negatively impacted? Toxic will have a better run out on the straights, gets the slipstream, pulls out to the inside. Will Ren let him go, or will he try to fight around the outside? Oh, guys, going really quickly at 132, F4 already. Toxic slides down the inside, great move from him. Renreps goes really wide, tries to attack Toxic again. Can he get it done? Looks on the inside. Well, no, it doesn't look on the inside. My brain is speaking in probable futures again. Then in front, Toxic now up into P2, trying to chase down LXV. Alan, who is stuck behind Zyfe and having some issues trying to get past. Has he overheated his tires in an attempt to get past? I don't know. Everybody is running mediums, which seems to be the sensible choice on this track. As a Toxic there got a really good run out of the hairpin, made up nearly 3/4 tenths. Has to back out there because you can't really overtake in that corner, but if you can get it right, you can overtake in this corner. LXV gives him the room, Toxic takes it, but LXV just edges ahead in this corner. You can just so much respect from both of these racing drivers back. As Iceman in the background goes off into the gravel, hasn't been able to get back on track. He's now back on track. So, in the lead we have LXV, in P2 we have Toxic, in P3 we have Renrep, P4 we have Cheesy, P5 Zyfe, P6 Alan, P7 Redshift and P8 Iceman. 15 minutes to go. As the grid slowly tries to settle down. Will Toxic go for an attack? No, Zyfe on the background there does get a nice run on Cheesy, as now we're going to switch back to here. Toxic tries around the outside for the lead. Will he hang on around the outside? No, LXV just carrying a little bit more speed, switching back, and LXV stays ahead as Zyfe and Cheesy just switch positions. Cheesy seems to be running a bit wide in the previous corner. Can't. Zyfe gets past nicely. Cheesy now Cheesy now has a little bit more overspeed, but he doesn't seem to manage to put that to use. Toxic is jeez, sorry, my speech is breaking down a little bit, is still trying to get past LXV, which just runs a bit wider through that corner every time. Toxic gets a nice run on him. Gap is now 2 tenths, 1 tenth, has to back out of it again because you can't overtake in that corner. it's just impossible to do. Behind him, Redshift and Alan are fighting it out. Alan there trying to defend from Redshift. It's really fast. Alan actually dropping back from Cheesy. No, sorry. I am looking at all the wrong timings. And my head's breaking. Sorry for that. Alan is dropping back from Cheesy a little bit as Redshift is really trying his best to get past Alan. Alan running really wide in those two corners there. That's going to cost him onto the main straight. Will Redshift be able to get a good run? Yes, he can. Alan goes defensive. Redshift switches around the outside. He tries to go for a move. Can he get it done around the outside? Breaks really late. Cuts him off. Does he run wide? Alan switching back to the inside, getting a shorter run into here, so he might get back in front, but he doesn't. As Alex V loses out and Toxic also loses out. What happened there? Renrupt is back into the lead. Toxic spins. Toxic goes around all the way to the back. That is gotta hurt. That is gotta hurt. As everybody is still within 4 or 5 seconds of each other. Except Toxic and Iceman now. As Zyfe is under pressure from Cheesy Maniac again, as I'm pushing all the wrong buttons. There we go. Zyfe is Cheesy. Oh no! Zyfe spun it and got rammed off by Cheesy. Cheesy says, "Nah, I'm not gonna straighten you out. I'm just gonna kill you." That's a really unsafe rejoin from Zyfe there. Toxic nearly sending it into the gravel again, trying to avoid Zyfe. We'll have to ask Zyfe a bit later on what's happening there, as Redshift is now on the bumper from Cheesy, who's up into P3, Alan in P5, slowly picking off the people one by one. 12 minutes to go. Picking off people one by one does work, but remember, this is only a 20-minute race, so you can't go too slowly. The moment you start to go too slowly, you are gonna lose out. Redshift then in P4, trying to close up the Cheesy Maniac, but he's now under pressure from Alan, who's really closed up over the past 2 laps. So great job from Alan, as Redshift are running really wide. Will that enable Alan to get a run? And no, it won't, as Redshift spins it! Redshift spins it! Alan there able to just avoid him. Great driving from him, as Alan is now up into P4. He will need to get past Alex V to get that win, I think. Ooh, no, as Redshift goes back around. Did Alan let him through? Did Alan let him through there? Or... I think Alan thought he spun him. But... he didn't, so why did Alan let him through there? That was weird. Did he or did he not? No, I'm confused. Also something really interesting I found out about these cars. Not in real life, but in AC while driving them. Especially in the... ooh, as Redshift are going really wide again. Can Alan get the run back? No, Redshift is just putting the power down a bit too early. These cars don't have downshift protection, and since we don't run damage, that means that if you know the corner is going to be second gear, for example, what you do is you go from fifth gear to second gear, just in one shot. So you press the button, you press the downshift 4 times, you're into second gear, and it helps slow the car down a little bit more than it normally would, as Redshift is now all over Cheesy's bumper, really trying to put the pressure on him. Cheesy there, going a bit defensive. Get a rear wing. Redshift all over there, looking to the inside, switches to outside. Cheesy's just a bit too wide there. Can he get past? It doesn't seem like it here. As I just take a quick sip of water. Then behind him we have a little bit of a train starting to form. Toxic, Alan and Redshift all in the same boat. Toxic here really trying his best to get past Cheesy Maniacs, who runs a little bit wide on the exit here. Can get Redshift get a good run. So Alan goes really wide and Toxic darts to the outside. Behind him, Toxic and Alan. Toxic sweeps around the outside. Alan losing out a little bit there. Nice move from Toxic. As back in front we have Redshift still trying to pass. Ooh, as he Locks the rear brakes on entry, just taps Cheesy there a little bit. This is some great racing from everybody. Cheesy going really defensive. No, he got a tank slapper. He got a tank slapper which cost him so much momentum. Redshift got past. Will Toxic be able to get past as well? Will he be able to take advantage of that lost momentum? Takes a really tight line through that, really early apex through that final corner. It's going to cost you on the main straight. Will Alan be able to get to do something? No, just 3/10 gap. And they're 2 seconds slower on that last lap. As Toxic now really closing up to Cheesy. Let's look down the inside. You can't really do a move there. Here you can though. If you pull out late and go on the brakes. Ooh, as he goes late on the brakes, starts going ready outside, gets a little bit of a slide going, but he catches it again. As he goes back up into place. Alan is now also all over Toxic's bumper. That is going to be a predicament as we go on board with Toxic. As you can see in the rearview mirror, you have Alan in front, you have Cheesy Maniac. What are you going to do? Are you going to attack? Are you going to defend? That is the big question of the racing drivers. Probably go for the attack, but if he goes for attack and it fails, then it's going to cost him. Cheesy gets a big slide going there. So you go back to the TV cameras, Alan. Toxic just having to back off a little bit there. As Iceman is really close to getting lapped. Iceman is actually being lapped at the moment. Is that true? No, that's not true. Where's Iceman? Where is Iceman? Oh, he's back in the pits. He's gone to the pit box. In P1 we have Alan, who is we have Redshift, who is still being Renrupt, who is still being chased down by LXV. What's happening there? Back behind. This is the fight currently going on between Toxic, Alan, and Zyfe is also joining into the party now. So it's a 4-way fight for P4, which is absolutely amazing. Great driving here is LXV actually closing up to Renrupt here. Quite a lot. LXV finally getting all the momentum he needs to try and get past Redshift. Ooh, as Ren got a tank slapper! And that's gonna cost him. He loses a position. Will he lose out to Redshift as well? Gets back going, but will he be able to get momentum? Still has dirty tires as well. So, Redshift there get a big slide going on. That's gonna cost him. Redshift now all over the back of Renrupt, who's gonna be in that negative mindset, which will probably hurt him. So Redshift there switches to the inside, which becomes the outside for the hairpin. Can he go late on the brakes? They're going side by side into the hairpin. Ren going really tight there, giving him more than enough space. Great driving from him as behind him Toxic Boy is closing up massively into Cheesy Maniacs. This is some great driving from everybody. To all 9 of you still watching, you are watching an amazing race. So Toxic Boy now trying his best to close back up to Cheesy Maniacs. As Iceman has decided to stay in the pits and just enjoy the race. Toxic here trying his best, just running a little bit too wide. It's really important to get a good run onto this main straight, as it's quite a long main straight. Just did get a good run there. 2 10s, 1.5 10s. Cheesy Maniac doesn't go defensive. Toxic has a look on the inside, who's gonna go brake later. Cheesy tries to hold on around the outside, which is definitely possible to the high amount of banking into that first corner. But Toxic Boy gets in front. Will Cheesy be able to go around the outside here? Will he dare to go late on the brakes? No, he does not. Toxic Boy up into P4, a nice move from him. Alan is now trying to do the same. Cheesy actually, no. Alan is now trying to put pressure on Cheesy Maniac and get past him again. Toxic there getting such a big slide going. He is running on a keyboard, so managing this car's throttle on a keyboard is quite hard to do. I was planning to talk about CRM and DRM, CRM and CRC, but it's just so exciting, there's no need for me to talk about that. So still great driving from everybody here, as Cheesy Maniac is still holding on to Toxic. He's not dropping back, so while Toxic got the overtake, he's not dropping back all that much, which means Alan is now able to close back up. Is Toxic driving defensively? That might be it. Toxic driving defensively as Cheesy there clips the inside curb, which loses him quite a lot of momentum. Alan running really wide there, which costs him quite a lot of momentum. So as you can see, it is really important to just try and keep it clean, because you dip the tires on the grass a little bit there, much there. And that is it. Alan running with the headlights on just to drop the frame rate from Cheesy a little bit. Maybe gaining an advantage. That is big brain thinking from him. As Toxic is now really close on Renrupt bumper as well, as he actually goes down the inside of Renrupt. Toxic up into P3, Renrupt switching back to the outside, as we've seen multiple people do. The quick switch back, Renrupt going a bit too wide. That's gonna give him a 10 clapper. No, he keeps it in check. Great job from him there. And P5 we have Cheesy Maniac, who's now being chased down by Alan and Zyfe, who actually didn't do that well. I expected Alan to get back up to through that field a lot quicker. But we'll ask him what happened in the interviews in a couple of minutes. We have 3 minutes to go. That will probably be 2 laps. So as we head into, as this is, as the leader is currently driving to the penultimate lap of the race. Sorry for that massive pop. So Alan in P6 trying to get past, Cheesy in P4 trying to get past Ren in Cheesy in P5 trying to get past Ren in P4, but Alan is now all over the back of Cheesy trying to get past. Can he get a good run on, will he be able to get a good run on the straight? As we look at the rear view mirror, we see Alan closing up, going down the inside as we switch back to the outside views. Going down the inside there, that's going to give Ren a bit of breathing room. Who's going to brake later? And Alan's brakes later as Ren locks up. Will he? Ren locks up, goes on the gravel there. Cheesy Maniac just having a look down the inside of Alan again. Will Alan be able to hang around the outside of this corner? Sweeps across and gets the position. Great driving from Alan there. As Alex V is currently in the lead. But Cheesy tries to fight it back. He doesn't give up as and they're just having to go the long way around, which costs him a position. And he's currently fighting with Renault. He just forces off the track. He says, nah, this is my road. This is my rules. As Zyfe there tries to do the same thing, just bouncing on that lost momentum. Great back racing from everybody here. Well, back racing is NASCAR, I call it back racing. As they're just so close to each other, as Zyfe now trying to put a move on Renrupt in front. This is his view. Some great racing from him. So I've got a bit of a slide going there, just dipping the curb a little bit too much, goes for that late apex. Tries to close it back up. Seem to be able to, as in front, in front Cheesy seems to run a bit wide. Can Alan get the move going? Will he be able to? In his rearview mirror you can see Renrupt as well, waiting to pounce on any mistakes as we head into the final lap of the race. With Alex V in the lead. As Zyfe goes down the inside of Zyfe tries to go around the outside of Ren, as now it becomes the inside. Ren gives him just barely enough room. Will Zyfe go late on the brakes here? Yes, Ren tries to swing it around the outside, forces Zyfe onto the curbs and stays ahead. Nice move from him. In front we have Alan, who is also trying to put pressure on Cheesy Maniac. The camera wants to switch. No, Alan drops it! Alan drops it! And that is his bid for the overall win over. That is definitely any chance gone. But Zyfe is still trying to put pressure on Ren. Ren is going semi-defensively. Oh no, Ren locks up! Ren locks up and oh, everybody's off, Cheesy's off, Ren is off, Zyfe up into P4! What just happened? As the timer is done now, as we will follow Alex V through the final 2 corners. As he comes across the line to win the reverse grid race of the GT500s at Autopolis. Well done, nice drive from him. Behind him we have Redshift, who also did a great job, and then Toxic Boy. A little bit later on we have a Zyfe, who will be coming across the finish line. Now followed closely by Ren and Cheesy Maniac, who are on each other's bumpers. And all the way at the back, Alan, who is just gonna be heartbroken. Still some happy wiggles from him though. And we have Iceman who is still in the pits. So with that done, a great race from everybody. And we will see if we can get some interviews done. As somebody tries to get my attention, that is Apollo bot. Thank you Apollo for reminding me the race is here. So I will see if anybody wants an interview while I run the weekly intro. So enjoy the weekly intro one more time, I just love it so much, while I try and sort out an interview for you guys. With that amazing interview over, we are an amazing intro over. We are now waiting to see if anybody wants to join for an interview. It doesn't seem like it. I'll do my best to see if anybody wants an interview, but if nobody shows up, then we will have to end the stream. And it doesn't seem like anybody is showing up. So, in that case, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. It was some amazing racing. And we will see you guys Wednesday during the CRC stream. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Fyodor, and we'll see you guys later.